Please subscribe to Bear Nerd Fun. Smash the like button. Goodbye.
Hail to all. Hail to all. How's everyone doing? Gonna throw a little quick article at you. This is an update to an article I've done before. Two different articles by Ichibaka. Yeah. Rock it in there. Yep. Silence is golden. Well, let's get to it, shall we? Okay, now let's get this here article going. Right there. There we go. So, Star Wars writer Roanhorse Credibly accused of being a racial impostor. Readers of the blog may recall Lucasfilm author and transracial cultural appropriator Rebecca Roanhorse, who wrote Star Wars Resistance Reborn. Roanhorse is often cited as being part okay. Anake. Man, I cannot pronounce that word. Aweneke? Man, I'm tearing that word apart. And part African American. She was accused of the cardinal SJW sin cultural appropriation by Indian country Today, which published the article that claimed Miss Roanhorse was not of Dene. Do not refer to Navajo as Navajo. They are Dene. The tribal center says Dene. And despite writing about the Dene, we only hope that if Lucasfilm ever produced a biopic about Jabba the Hutt, that they can find Hutt to write the screenplay. We don't need humans appropriating Huttese culture now. But I digress, blah, blah. But things may be taking a turn for the worse for Rebecca, who is commonly expresses Lucasfilm's required hatred of white people. Apparently, investigative journalists have been looking into Miss Roanhorse's racial claims. You can find some of these here tweets. I'm not really interested in reading this person's tweets, as I've done other videos about this, so we're just going to glance over this real quick. We will investigative journalist AC Agayo got back to work and published the following on Indians.com. The Elizabeth Horn, a sci-fi set author, criticism for repeated use of tribal traditions. A popular author is facing renewed accusation of cultural appropriation after repeatedly using tribal stories and traditions without consent. Yes, that's the biggest thing. If you're going to tell some other tribe's story, you got to get permission. Especially if you're going to monetarily gain from it. That's to me, that's just wrong. In the latest work, Rebecca Roanhorse describes herself as being Native American from Anikee, Owiniga. I'm tearing that word apart. One of the 19 Pueblo communities in New Mexico, but she is not a citizen of the federally recognized Indian nation. Just to point this out, there are natives that are not carded. It does not mean they're not native. Just saying. Back to the article. Whose homelands are located in the northern part of the state. Additionally, no one under the name Roanhorse, her married name of that of Parsh, her maiden name is citizen, Indians.com confirmed, and in public settings, she has told people that she never lived in the tribal community. Despite the lack of formal and community ties to Anikee-Owiniga, yeah, I won't stop saying that word, whose leaders are regularly recognized for their contributions in art, education, and national policy. Roanhorse centers herself as a representative of the tribe to readers of science fiction fantasy. She's like the Elizabeth Warren of sci-fi. Alina Ortiz, a citizen of Anikee-Owiniga. Yeah, I'm tearing that word apart. Indians.com. Comparing Roanhorse to a more recent example of prominent political figure whose prior claims of Native identity have often detracted from otherwise well-grounded efforts to advance tribal causes. What she wrote, Ortiz said, bears no resemblance to the story, what the message is, what it's trying to teach us about Pueblo people, about our communities, ourselves. Ortiz thinks a different motivation is at play. She said Roanhorse is using her claim of Pueblo heritage to make sure she stands out in a crowded literary space where few other Native Americans are able to achieve recognition in a medium largely controlled by non-natives. She's trying to use indigenous stories to market her work, Ortiz says, yet she added, there's a resemblance to what she's writing and what the stories actually are. For her to present to a larger audience that she knows what she's talking about is just ridiculous, said Darantel, who serves as chair of the Dene Nation Human Rights Commission, whose role is to protect the well-being of the Dene people. And it's harmful and it's violent. You can read the entirety of the article on this link right here. This article will be linked below in a video. In a normal world, writers ought to be able to write about anything they damn well please, particularly the genre of fantasy. But there's an old saying, live by the sword, die by the sword, when you peddle repugnant race baiting and nonsense crimes such as, I think it's going a bit far to call it a crime, race baiting. It's repugnant, yes, but I don't know, maybe. Such as cultural appropriation, then it really should not come as a surprise if you find yourself the target of those same pointing fingers one day. Regardless, we should remember that Miss Roanhorse is the victim here herself. She received a late night phone call. So I don't care who you are or how much you hate me or think, I'm not gonna read her tweets. Just not gonna do that. So if you want to look into her tweets, this article is by Ichibaka. Make sure his information is below. And so yeah, you can find all his information below, and you can find the other articles linked that I did videos on in part 1 and part 2. This is part 3. Hail to the Phantom Menace. And remember, if you want to use Native people's story, the respectful thing is to offer tobacco and then ask them if you can. And you may get a no, you may get a yes. Depends on how respectful you are. It's just the way it is. Respect is a big thing. So, hail to the Phantom Menace. Hail to everyone else out there. Be well, just do not fall in one.